Hi everyone, welcome to the Ravit Show. We are here at Gartner DNA and I'm super excited to be with Rich here from Anomalo. Rich, welcome to the Ravit Show. It's your debut.
Thank you, Ravit. I appreciate it. Great to see you.
Yes, Rich, quick question for you. What's happening here at Gartner? And I'm kind of also wanting to learn a little bit about your role at Anomalo.
Yeah, absolutely. I am president of Global Field Operations, which means I kind of manage everything from sales to customer success to marketing to partnerships and customer success as well.
A lot of
Turn it
things
over.
that you've
Yeah.
been doing in this space. So we are here at Gartner and with top data and AI leaders here. Bluntly, tell me, why are the AI projects failing so much?
It's a great question. Everyone wants to know the answer. There's no silver bullet for that. I've actually seen this over the last 10 years that I've been in AI, Ravit.
Yep.
There's a number of reasons people fail, but I've seen it go from predictive back in 2015 to then generative, and now today agentic that everyone's looking at.
Yep.
And there's a number of reasons projects fail, but like the biggest one I've seen lately in talking to corporate leaders, and this is backed by Gartner research actually, is people are sitting on mountains of data, but mountains of data they don't really have wholesale trust in, right? There's just incredible number of data quality issues, and those can spiral out of control. So people can't always detect, understand, and resolve their issues in a timely manner.
True.
And as we move more and more towards agentic approaches, that can spiral and come out of control very quickly.
Yeah.
So people just don't trust their data, and what happens is many of these organizations often then turn to legacy approaches, writing business rules, or
Yep,
automating even the writing of business rules. And that just simply doesn't scale in today's world and doesn't prepare your data for AI readiness.
I love it. Fantastic insights. You mentioned about agentic. I have a question around there. There's a lot of buzz around agentic AI. Why do you feel like data quality is what will actually make AI safe or risky, especially executives who want to, speed it up
Everyone wants to go faster, right? We all
faster,
know
right?
that.
Yeah.
I think what you have to first learn is number one is AI data quality itself, number one, is core to the infrastructure. It's part of the foundation, and you need to start there.
Right.
And there's, I think, a compromise many people feel like between moving fast and really trusting your data. And the only way to do that is through an automated AI approach of data quality, which
Yep.
obviously Anomalo provides, to allow you to move faster, but it really with guardrails in place, right? To move without risk, sacrificing risk, and that's so you don't have to sacrifice speed. You can move forward quickly, but you need to basically have those guardrails.
Guardrails in place. Yeah, I think that's a very valid point there. I also talk to a lot of enterprises out there and large enterprise leaders too. So, Rich, my question to you at large enterprises, what does that data quality failure actually look like, and why don't old approaches work anymore? Do you have any thoughts around that? Because I know you talk to a lot of customers and obviously the enterprise leaders as well.
Yeah, I do talk to a lot of people. In fact, we have several of our largest customers here. One of our big customers speaking on Wednesday, who's Equifax.
Oh, nice.
And I think what happens is a lot of these customers are consuming data, they're ingesting data from either different lines of businesses or they may be bringing it in from external vendors. And what happens is maybe one column is off or one data feed doesn't get there or something breaks a pipeline. And what happens again is those things spiral out of control, right? It breaks the system. And again, typically enterprises will quickly move to build a business rule to kind of catch for that scenario next time. But the reality is like the world is changing quickly, right? And so that means schemas change, data feeds change, everything
Totally.
changes over time. And so there's really only a way to do that is through kind of an AI native automated approach. You
Right.
think of a company like Equifax, who again, Nick Hold'em, who's actually the CEO of Equifax, and is speaking here on Wednesday.
Fantastic.
As a business user, not a technologist, but how it impacts the business. It's amazing what they do. Over 20-some thousand data feeds a day they're getting. So as you can imagine, they can't keep up with all the changes. If one thing's broken in the pipeline, it can be significant damage to their data quality initiatives and really hard for Equifax to recover. And he's not just looking at it from a financial standpoint, operational, but there can be regulatory issues involved
So true.
and
Yeah.
reputational risk, which can just be dramatic. So it's very critical that they attack this in kind of an automated approach. And I encourage everyone to come and listen to Nick's story on Wednesday.
Yeah, no, I love it. These are great points. You mentioned a very important point, which is about also the reputation that every enterprise has out there, and then how they're looking at, obviously the business goals. Because most of the time we're lost in the conversation where, oh, tech can do this for you, but at the same time, will it align with my business goal? And most of the times, right now in this space, what I hear most of the times is, Ravit, we're talking about, agentic is good, Gen AI is good, AI agents are good.
Yeah.
Let's just focus on the trust that we can have on these different aspects as well, which is like the top priority for a lot of enterprises. But at the same time, how important is the data foundation, right?
Yeah.
W-
I mean, the foundation is absolutely critical. I think that's what people are realizing. And now you see people even who deployed AI very quickly
Yep.
going back and addressing the foundation. So you've seen more and more talking. If you walk around anywhere in the exhibit hall,
Yep.
you hear about data governance, you hear about compliance, you hear about data quality because
Yes.
people are realizing how critical it is. It is the cornerstone. When you think about leveraging AI, when I grew up back in the BI days, and so if you had a mistake with the data, it may show up in a dashboard or a BI report. But today, you can actually, if you're feeding bad data into a predictive model, that can be substantial risk. You can make poor decisions. If you're thinking about moving into an agentic workflow, it can be very significant,
Yeah.
outcomes there. So these agents are operating sometimes autonomously across the enterprise, so it can be magnified in terms of the impact, good or bad. So the data quality is not there, which is now the kind of, I think everyone agrees is the foundation for getting started. That's where everyone's moving.
I love it. I
Yeah.
love these details. And one last question I have for you, Rich,
Yeah.
is around, Anomalo does a lot more than data quality, it feels like. Can you share a little bit more about what are you all focusing on when it comes to, not only just servicing the enterprises out there,
Yeah.
but helping them with what Anomalo is doing? And what's the long-term vision? Kind of wanting to know a
Yeah,
little
it's a
bit.
great question, and it's actually, I don't know if you know or have met. I think you've met Elliot before,
Elliot,
but
yeah.
Elliot and his co-founder Jeremy, who came from Instacart, they had an incredible long-term vision, and it
Right.
started with data quality.
Yes.
But they really had to save data quality, that issue, and because it was so cornerstone and fundamental to like solving foundational issues. But really, they had a much bigger, broader vision. And if you understand what that is, we call it self-driving data, actually, not
Oh.
because that's a cool name, because we do think it's cool,
Yeah.
but it really is this kind of new layer. If you think of a series of autonomous agents operating between your data and your decisions, right? Where they're scanning your data,
Interesting.
relearning your data, identifying subtle changes, fixing the data, and also potentially surfacing incredible insights that maybe you didn't even think to ask.
Very
We
important.
call this self-driving data, much like the way we've seen with the convergence of self-driving cars, where technologies finally came together that we could actually have self-driving cars that worked well. We're seeing the same thing with data. So I think we're entering a whole new world, which is where Anomalo was always headed, but now the technology's kind of caught up in terms of where we need to be. So I think you're going to see an amazing, what we call constellation of agents delivering very powerful business impact to the enterprises.
Yeah, I love it. I love these insights. And I have one more question.
Sure.
Sorry about that.
No,
But
no.
if folks want to learn more about what Anomalo is up to, where can they follow? If they want to reach out to you, which is the best place? LinkedIn, X, whatever.
Yeah, I think we're out there on everything social media wise. We obviously have a website, but you can reach out on LinkedIn. You can get demo requests. Please stop by the booth here and see us
Yes,
today.
exactly.
Many of the events here are happening at the theater. We'd love to have people stop by and visit us, and we'd be more than happy to share some time with you.
Fantastic. Rich, such a pleasure chatting with you on the Ravit Show. We'll keep the conversation going. Looks like y'all are doing something pretty interesting, in not only just in the data quality space, but how y'all are helping the enterprises in this space is pretty interesting. And the long-term vision is what I loved. And, obviously I've known Anomalo for years now,
Yeah.
and we've seen y'all grow massively. Some big names that y'all have as customers as well, which is phenomenal.
Yeah.
So we'll keep the conversation going, but it was such a pleasure hosting you on the Ravit Show.
I
Very much.
appreciate it, Ravit,
Thank
very
you.
much. Thank
Yeah.
you.
Thank you very much.